You lay down the map, throw a few bad guys down, place the PC minis, and fight till everything is dead. This is what the vast majority of RPG combats end up being like, and although still a fun experience, there are really ways to ramp up the encounters that I think a lot of GMs would benefit from. The point of this video is just to make the GMs think a little bit more about their encounters and what they mean. In writing fiction, you're often taught there are several types of conflicts, versus others, versus self, versus environment. There are expansions on this theme, but these are the basics. In RPG combat, you almost always have versus others. However, I like to shake it up now and again. Versus self doesn't come up often, and is best left as a pure roleplay experience. For an actual encounter, versus environment can really spice things up. Have the dam collapse as the PCs are walking across it, and now they have to try and navigate down this torrent of rushing water, steering themselves away from jagged splinters, sharp rocks, dragging eddies in the rushing waters. Or, the burning building is collapsing around them. Every decision they make could lead to a fiery dead end, ducking under burning beams, occasionally making daring leaps through sheets of fire. These are the encounters people will remember. Treat the environment like a creature, basically. It has different abilities and aspects that the PCs might want to overcome. Work on making encounters not just about fights, but puzzles and traps are also versus the environment. Maybe even mix and match a little of all of these things. And that brings me to my next point. Make the encounter about more than one thing. An encounter is easy if all you have to do is kill the bad guys. But what if those bad guys have hostages? In a burning building, while a bomb is ticking down, seconds till it explodes. Now you have drama and excitement. Having to focus on more than one thing means the players have to make more actual decisions, instead of just blindly rolling the same old dice over and over. Next is the encounters should be there for a reason. Oh, sure, the occasional random encounter while the PCs wander the forest can be fun, but when it comes to the planned encounters, you need to ask yourself, why is this happening? Asking yourself this question might help you fill out the details of the scene. Are the goblins there because they wish to defend their new home? Then there will probably be barricades and defenses the PCs have to bypass. Are the goblins there because they want to destroy the place? Then maybe some incendiaries or alchemical explosives are nearby. If you figure out why the encounter exists, it may be easier to create those fine details that make the scene memorable. My final point for the video is, add some fine touches to individual creatures. This not only makes the PCs remember them better, but makes it actually easier for the GM to organize. Hey, always good to make it easier. As an example, the GM has the PCs fighting 4 orcs. You could just say, well, here's orc number 1, here's orc number 2, etc. But what if you add a little physical detail here? The first orc looks like he was horribly burned, so he's the burned orc. The second orc has a slight limp when he moves. The third orc is wearing a copious amount of war paint. The fourth orc is a little skinnier than the rest and kind of twitchy. Suddenly these orcs have personalities. They're individual monsters that are easy for you and the players to differentiate. The player says, well, I'm going to go after the twitchy orc, and the other guy's like, well, I'm going to focus on the one that's all covered in war paint. It's really easy to remember them, and it sort of makes the scene come alive that little bit more. Well, I hope that was enough for you to think about for now. Do your best in the future to try and really expand upon your encounters as a GM and add those fine details. Have a good one, eh?